Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Now, in today's video, guys, I'm going to be doing a movie review for Jordan Peele's Nope, but first, of course, I do have a couple of announcements to make. Much needed change coming to my channel is that instead of telling you to read the community post and join the Discord and all that kind of stuff in the intro, I'm just going to be having, at random intervals in each video, some kind of GIF or text pop up that just tells you to do that, so I don't have to tell you in the intro. It saves a lot of time. Those of you who are just subscribers to the channel probably already know it by now, so I'm just going to be doing that to save time. I know a lot of other popular YouTubers use that as a good strategy so that they don't have to spend as much time explaining in the intro. I know it's a bit ironic that I'm talking about it in the intro, but this will never be mentioned ever again in both channels. Don't worry about it, but it's just going to be a new feature that I think is much needed to both of my channels. So instead of cutting in the intro now, I'm not going to cut, and I'm just going to tell you what the upcoming videos are if I do have any ideas for that. So as far as upcoming videos for this channel, obviously I'm going to be getting to working on, whenever I get the time, part 2 of the Bully Maguire video, the Bully Maguire versus Ashwin Abanashi. And then for the Ars Political channel, I do have something in mind, so stay tuned for that if you are subscribed. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe because I'm trying to build the channel. Other than that, this is a bit awkward, but let's get straight on to the movie review. It wasn't a whole lot of movies that I was looking forward to after Thor: Love and Thunder this month, or even next month. So I finally discovered that Nope was directed by Jordan Peele, so it caught my interest a little bit because I have watched Jordan Peele's previous 2 films, and those did leave a pretty good impression on me, so I figured the heck with it, let's watch Nope. It's another, miscellaneous horror movie that I can watch this year and talk about in the future whenever I make a tier list or whatever. So I decided to watch Nope, and I will say, out of his 3 films, this is definitely the weakest for me. I know it's definitely interchangeable and, debatable which one is at the bottom between Us and Nope, but for me, Nope is the weakest out of his 3. I enjoyed Us a little bit more, and Get Out is definitely his standout one that made him popular and everything like that. So, going over the plot details, I may not explain this the best out of other people. In fact, you could probably just look up the description and get a better idea, but I'm going to try to explain it the best that I can. Basically, the main character, OJ, he's this rancher, lives in the middle of the nowhere, owns this horse ranch, and his sister's coming into town, and he starts noticing, conveniently at the same time, that he starts seeing these UFO sightings and everything like that. So him and his sister are kind of on the mission in this movie. Don't mistake this for a horror movie. I don't think this should really be considered. Well, it's a horror movie, but don't think that this movie is going to be scary. It's more of a sci-fi thriller than it is a scary horror movie and stuff like that. It's kind of like The Black Phone almost. Not sci-fi, but a thriller more of. So, his sister and OJ and his sister are on a mission in this movie to try to capture evidence of this UFO sighting, but they're struggling doing it despite all these different characters in the movie that they're gathering to help them with it. This technology guy, the guy that I believe was helping him with his, one of the directors that was helping with his upcoming movie that he was working on and stuff like that. They all come in to help try to capture evidence of this UFO. But the thing is, this UFO is not so easy to catch on camera because it kind of has its mind of its own. It'll know if cameras are recording and stuff like that, and it will do whatever it can to try to avoid being caught. So that's basically the plot of the movie. You also have a bit of a subplot with Steven Yeun as the host of this country fair, and he has his own kind of subplot with these chimps or whatever. If you watch the movie, you'll understand it better. I'm not going to try to explain it or anything like that, but I just wanted to put that in there as well, because the subplot takes up at least 20 minutes of this movie, if not, 30 minutes. So I just wanted to include that in there because it is in a good portion of this movie. So that's the best that I could explain the plot without spoiling anything like that. So what are the positives for me in this movie? I did like how they brought back, I forgot what the actor's name was in Get Out, but I liked how they brought back the main character in Get Out for Nope. I think he did a good job in this movie. I know some people were bothered by his kind of facial reactions and everything like that in moments where it didn't really make sense. I was never really bothered by that because I understand his personality and everything like that in this movie, so it didn't really bother me too much with him being super calm and collected in these intense suspenseful scenes and things like that. So that never really bothered me. I liked OJ in this movie. I also like Steven Yeun being in this movie, as I'm kind of a fan of Steven Yeun because he played in The Walking Dead as Glenn, and I thought it was interesting seeing him in this movie here as this rancher who's the host of this country fair, and he's got his own little subplot and everything like that. And I think there was one other positive, but I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, this movie really does relate to the real world in terms of UFO sightings and everything like that. You know how people are always trying to, catch evidence of UFOs, and whatever they do, it's like this low quality image of it, or they just can't get it. Or when they do capture evidence of the UFO, the government will try to, debunk the UFO sighting or try to say it's not real or whatever. Now, you guys already know my opinion on UFOs and everything like that. I'm not saying I'm, with these people who have this particular belief or anything like that, but I thought it was interesting. It really connected to the real world, and it was very relatable. So I liked the whole aliens and the UFOs kind of. There was even conspiracies that were being thrown out there by one of the characters in here, so I really liked that. And I think that's all the positives. I don't think there's really any mix that I can think of. So just going straight to the negatives. There's two main negatives that I have for this movie. I think the plot is too confusing. That's my first negative. It was really hard for me to find kind of the underlying message or meaning behind this movie. Whereas for Us, it was a little bit easier, and for Get Out, it was definitely very, very simple. It related to the real world. It was very straightforward. That's what I liked about Get Out. So I know Jordan Peele's style of filmmaking, he intentionally makes it vague, so that it's kind of hard to find out what the underlying message is. But for me, because of the confusing layout of the plot, I don't think it really helped, and I don't think it was a smart decision by any means. So that was one negative for that I had. And then my second negative is the whole subplot with the chimps. I like Steven Yeun, but I never really got what the whole chimp subplot was all about. It never correlated to the main plot in any way, and quite frankly, I think it was just a waste of time, because this movie is, 2 hours, a little over 2 hours long, so you could have cut about 15-20 minutes in this film, not focusing on that so much, because it didn't contribute to anything, and I think I would have enjoyed this movie a little bit more. So those are my two main negatives, and I think that's pretty much it. On Rotten Tomatoes, I gave this movie, I think it was a 2.5 stars. It was either a 2.5 or 3 out of 5 stars. Regardless, I think it was 2.5. I believe. So putting that into out of 10, as you guys know, I do it out of 10. Putting that into out of 10, I'm going to be giving this movie, I think I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10. For the most part, I think it's a below average horror movie for me. It just kind of passed the time. It was just a movie that I went to see just for another movie to see, so that I wasn't like having a 2-month break from the movie theater or anything like that. Because I do like seeing movies, I do like trying out different things, and I definitely wanted to try out this Jordan Peele film because he left a good impression on me with his first two. But I certainly think this is the weakest out of his 3, and I'm giving it a 4.5 instead of a 5, because I think it is slightly below average. And I think the negatives did, for the most part, outweigh the few positives that this movie had. So I don't really recommend this movie unless you've watched Jordan Peele's previous 2 movies. I would probably just go and see it so that you can kind of make your own little mini ranking. But if you're just looking to see a horror movie in the summer, I don't really recommend this one. I would definitely just go see The Black Phone instead. That one was much better than Nope. So, and it's not even really that scary in the first place. So, Nope, I would, for the most part, just stay away from, unless you've watched his previous 2 movies. So, I don't really recommend this one, and that's pretty much it for the movie review. Tune for the upcoming content, and that's pretty much it. It's so awkward not saying all the rest of the stuff that I usually say. So, yeah, stay tuned for the upcoming content that I announce at the beginning of the video. Other than that, like and subscribe, guys, and I will see you next time.